gonna be like bam, bam.
You're on. You're on. And it's live. Okay, so we'll give it a few minutes because we're running late trying to. The phone died, so we had to get some charging in before we started this thing. So we'll give it a few minutes. Happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah,
All that.
all that. If you're an atheist, congratulations on making it to December. It's gonna be a good one.
Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I'm trying to burn some time here, so we can get as many people on here as possible to watch live. Okay, let's see here. We're gonna answer a bunch of questions, and then I think in the last few minutes, I may even try to get on live. Are you on our Twitter on your phone?
No, I'm on my own.
You're on your own.
They asked to talk louder, so I'm moving
can
a little
get-
bit closer.
Talk louder. Okay. We can slide forward.
Okay.
That's easier. Okay, so let's do this. This is kind of, we wanted to do this because we've kind of gone silent for a while since the end of, I guess, since we toured in the summer in our last couple shows in Brazil. We've been writing for a year now and recording all over the world for a year, and we're approaching the time when we have to figure out what we want to put out, because we want to put out something soon. So that's where we've been. Somebody may have asked that already, but I'm just going to say it. We've gone dark because you have to if you want to be creative. So here we go. Excuse me. Question number 1. This is from @Adnama, ADNAMA, from Israel. If you didn't live in the USA, where would you live? Eddie, where would you live?
Switzerland.
Okay, my number 1 would be...
Or Brazil. I don't know.
Or Brazil. My number 1 would be New Zealand. It's just like heaven on earth. And then Switzerland would be up there. It's hard for me. Paris would be up there too. Paris would be there.
South Africa.
Too many places, but probably New Zealand. Yeah, New Zealand, Switzerland, Paris. That's where we'd live. If you you read cooking books. Yes, I do. This is from Taiwan. Vanessa Lowe, @Vanessa Lowe. You read cooking books. So what is your favorite thing to cook? My favorite thing to cook...
This guy can cook. He's got...
I'm cooking for them tonight, actually. Yeah.
Yes.
Drew and Eddie are coming over, and I'm making dinner tonight. So I like to cook anything and everything. I love grilling, so anything that's barbecue, I can do kind of at this point with my eyes closed. But I like cooking really difficult things. My favorite stuff to cook is like, I have the French Laundry cookbook. Thomas Keller is one of the best chefs. I have a couple of his cookbooks. I have I've got cookbooks from a number of like the top chefs. So I like making simple food, but I have the most fun if it's really complicated. So homemade pasta, which is hard to do, especially in Colorado because it's so dry here. I like making French dishes. I like making I don't know, everything. Banana pudding. I like making banana pudding. But my favorite stuff is the more complicated stuff because I want to see if I can do it. Like really things that take hours and hours and hours, I want to see if I can make it look just like the picture. So those are my favorite things to cook.
Number 3, who can speak the most languages in the band?
Zach.
And this is from Greta Mash, @Greta Mash.
She's
definitely
in Lithuania.
Lithuania.
Yeah, that's where she's from.
Hello from there. Definitely Zach. Zach's got the language barriers on us. For sure.
He can speak the most because he's fluent in 2.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the best. I can bullshit the most languages. I can speak like very small conversational phrases in like 4 or 5 languages. It's just enough though that I'll do it and I can do the accents pretty good. So I'll do it in the accent, and then the person thinks they're like, oh, he's fluent in Czech or he's fluent in French or whatever, and then they start talking and I have no idea what they're saying. So I'm the biggest language bluffer in the band. How different is album 4 in comparison with your last albums? This is from Caitlin Jones. OneR in the beautiful state of Indiana. It's hard to say right now because we don't know what the final album will be. Most albums we've done only consist of the amount of songs that were written for them. So it's a very weird thing to do. Most bands don't do this. But historically, if we had 12 songs on an album, it's because 12 songs were written. That's it. Every song that was written was what the album became. There were no extra songs laying around. This is the first time that I've thrown that idea out and decided to write 4 times as many songs. So the theory was, if, you know, on Native, for instance, we had 12 songs, I think, and it's, you know, our most successful album, you know, being our 3rd album, which is kind of an interesting thing to happen. That's a dream, I think, for most bands, to have your albums as you go get bigger and bigger, which normally doesn't happen. So I looked at the album and I thought about it logically, and I thought, well, okay, this album connected in such a bigger way than any other album. What if I had written 4 times as many records and picked the best of those, like 40, or I guess 12 times 4, 48. And so it was just like a theory. What if we actually did 4 times as much recording, 4 times as much writing, all these things? How much better could an album be? In theory, it would be the best thing we've ever done. It's a theory. I don't know if that's, you know, we don't know if it's going to happen until it comes out. But theoretically, the next album should be the best thing we've ever done, because we're working 4 times harder, 4 or 5 times harder than we ever have, writing 4 or 5 times many songs, only picking the best from those 40, 50 songs. And again, that's what I think a lot of other artists actually do all the time. I don't know why we've never done it, but now we are. So I don't know what the album total will sound like. I do know that we are pushing the envelope in experimenting with styles and sounds that are completely different than anything we've ever done. I know for a fact there will be songs on the album that definitely a couple that feel like OneRepublic. You know, our sound always changes, so that's hard.
Yeah.
The definition of what we sound like is hard, even and we're in the band and I have no idea.
It's a crapshoot.
It's a crapshoot. It's whatever we think is the best. Whatever gets us off the most is what will be on the album. The things that make us the most excited to get on a plane and go around the world a couple times again, and that make us cry and make us like high five each other.
Yeah.
You know, all the things that make you feel emotion. That's what we're chasing, is make people feel something, and connect with people. I want people in India to feel like they're connected with us, and we're connected with people in Switzerland and Brazil and Russia and so on and so forth. You know, that's why we do what we do, is this kind of connection thing. Now here comes Drew Brown.
Brownie.
Browntown.
So I sent a bunch of messages saying I was coming late, but
Yeah, we got it.
you guys got it.
Ironically, the most on-time guy ever when we're on tour. When we're not on tour, all bets are off. Okay, can they still hear us and see us? Okay.
We'll see by the comments.
Do you have any traditions that you follow while touring? This is from Chloe Wilnecker in Minnesota. Tradition.
Usually, I like to warm up, stretch, hang out.
I think they mean
Traditions.
like what do we do
Following
in
tour.
different cities?
Wow. Okay.
I don't think they mean rituals.
Yeah.
I don't think
Do
you
you have
rituals.
any traditions that you follow while touring? Traditions.
I think we do. I mean, I think that the thing that we do the most is we're very. We gotta hop in here at some point at least. How many questions are there? 25 questions.
25 questions.
Uh,
And we're on 5.
We're on 5, so you can hop in.
Sweet.
But put your shirt back on before you hop in. Do you have any traditions? I think
Yes.
the tradition that we do the most is, I would like to think that we're very, you know, Anthony Bourdain. His style of like how he immerses himself in different cities and cultures and countries. We obviously don't have the free time that he has to do that stuff, but we do very much the same thing we have since day one. If we're in a different city or country, all of us, the cool thing about this band is that all 5 of us are up for, like if we're in Manila and we find out that there's a very specific like market that you have to go to, and there's an incredible local like Filipino restaurant that has the best pancit canton or whatever, like that's something that we'll do. And we do it everywhere. Like, it doesn't matter. We could be in Estonia, and we're trying to find what's the best restaurant we could go to in Estonia, or you know, Ekaterinburg or Cape Town. Like, we're constantly trying to figure out, because we don't take it for granted what we do. Everywhere that we go, we never, there's no guarantees we get to go back. It's only as long as we make the kind of music that the world connects with, that allows us to get to see all these incredible, beautiful places. And you know, we'll be damned if we go to these cities and countries, and when we come home and we're like, yeah, people are like, hey, what was Vietnam like, or what was London like? And we were just like, oh, the hotel was nice, which is what a lot of artists do. They just hang out in the hotel. We're the opposite of that. We really like to go out and explore and feel the culture of every country. The smallest country, Slovenia, you know, like I spent the entire day of the show walking through the streets of Slovenia. That's a country most people can't find on a map, but we thought it was gorgeous and couldn't believe how beautiful Slovenia was, actually. So that's our tradition, is right.
Yeah. As much as we can.
As much as we can. Yeah.
I mean, it's the difference between loving what you do, loving an opportunity to see something different, and resenting what you do and not taking advantage of being in a different part of the world.
Yeah. Here we go. If you were a character from any movie, who would it be, Drew?
Well, I mean, Ferris Bueller.
Ferris
right?
Bueller, okay. Yeah.
Or that should be everybody's goal. I don't know.
If you were a character from any movie,
Man,
who would you be?
I gotta say, dude, Iron Man? I don't know.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? You kind of do remind me a little bit of Tony Stark.
I'll tell you who I would be. Come here.
I think we get a prop for this.
I need a prop for this. Here's who I would be. That was not planned, actually. High five, Darth Vader.
He's the shoes.
Making it official.
Yeah, we gotta make that up.
Okay, what song do you remember most from your childhood? From my childhood, it's a combination of two songs. The two songs that I remember the most from being like 5, 6, 7 is Stevie Wonder, I Just Called to Say I Love You, and which I think was his last like big radio hit, and I was just old enough to remember that being on radio. And the Beach Boys, Sloop John B, off Pet Sounds. Those are the two things. What about you?
I was actually thinking about this, and I had no idea. The artist is Steam, and that song "Na Na 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 Hey 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 Goodbye."
Na 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 na.
That,
Hey.
I think that's the earliest musical memory I have, is probably that song.
That's awesome. So, Eddie, what about you?
Oh, it'd have to be
Little Richard?
yeah, there you go. Always Little Richard. I mean, probably the Beatles.
Alright, I'll go over there now. You have to walk over there. He's trying to use the force.
Oh,
You're gonna
the force is
the
strong.
force is supposed to knock over that guy.
Or can heat up that coffee. And yeah, a lot of the Beatles, a lot of.
Is there any movie you want to see in theaters right now? Okay,
Go.
so I just saw Star Wars. This is from
really?
this
I
is from
haven't seen
Turkey.
it.
First of all, the last question was by Celeste Claros, 84 in the Philippines. And the question, if you were a character from any movie, who would it be, is from Yasmin Harizal from Malaysia. Sorry, we have to announce who
Thank
asked
you,
questions.
guys.
Thank you for the question. Is there number 8? Is there any movie you want to see in theaters right now? This is from Turkey, by Graceland Casters at Graceland Casters, and I just saw Star Wars. It blew my mind, but I really want to see The Martian. I haven't seen it.
That,
What about you?
That,
I want to see both.
I think I'm on the same boat. I haven't seen
There you go.
neither.
I haven't seen. Have you guys seen the new Bond yet?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes,
I
I
haven't
have.
seen it.
It's good.
Okay.
It's
seen
the
it.
car. The car is probably
Eddie,
better than the movie. but-
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
I want the
Double
car from James Bond. Number 9. Describe your fans in 5 words. This is from Danilo Barcelos. Danilo Barcelos in Brazil. Brazil. 5 words.
Crazy, sexy, cool, best fans.
Crazy, sexy, cool, best fans. He
There you
wins.
go.
That's it.
Done.
I'm thinking in
Crazy, sexy, cool, best fans
Ever.
ever. That's
Ever.
6. Okay.
Fans ever.
Fans ever.
Fans ever.
I love that. Crazy, sexy, cool. Number 10. How would you describe album 4 so far with one word? This is from Germany. Verena _ID.
One word.
Unfinished.
That's amazing.
That's
So it's working. Yeah.
Number 11. So many of your fans worldwide have met and become a OneRepublic family. How does that feel as a band? This is from California. Karina Tucker. 5. It feels incredible. We've noticed that online that they've become a community, which I think is incredible because the goal is on this next album you want to make your closest fans, your best fans, proud of what you're doing and proud to be a fan of what you do. And music brings people together more than anything in the world. So that's the point of what we do. The point of what we do is for you to exist as a family, as a community, and come together for concerts, for stuff like this, meerkats, live streams, any of the social media events. Like, we want to do more of this. We should be doing more of this, but we had to go away. We were everywhere all the time for like 2.5 years, and we had to disappear for a minute. But yes, it makes us feel incredible.
We talk about it with our families often.
we
how
do.
it's very
We're like,
cool.
we're like, our fans are a little bit nicer than you. Like to
Right.
like our sisters and like our brothers.
Yeah.
they're nicer to each other
Than you guys
than,
are.
than our families.
Number 12, our favorite outdoor activity. This is from the Netherlands, Embroider. Mine is downhill mountain biking in the summer in Colorado, tied with downhill skiing in the winter. I like them both equally. Those are my favorite outdoor activities. What about you?
I'm definitely snowboarding, probably.
Oh man, well now that I'm thinking downhill summer mountain
downhill.
biking,
Yeah.
that's really hard to
That's
top.
my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Try to do it every summer. That is from the Netherlands. 13, if your life was turned into a movie, what actor would play you? Brazil, Erica Lino Stopa. Probably, we were watching Breaking Bad last night, and you get compared to a lot of different actors. Probably wearing this beanie in this lighting, I don't look like him, but I met a couple times. I met Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad, and I've been, especially when my hair was shorter, accused of being similar to him, probably more than any actor. And when we were standing side by side at Coachella this year, we looked similar enough on that day that everyone was like, yeah, you guys look like you might be related. So probably Aaron Paul, and I think he's cool. He says bitch more than any person I've ever met in my life.
Which is great. That's
They right, bitch?
it's really easy to become our
Yeah.
hero.
Yeah.
Who would play Eddie? I think...
Tell me. I want to know. I want to know.
I think... let me
That guy
think
from
about
Lost.
this.
What's his name?
Sandra Bullock.
There you go.
What about you?
Bullock.
I was thinking maybe like a young Eric Roberts.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. I like
for
that.
for Eddie.
For Eddie.
For me.
Yeah.
Yeah. David Beckham.
I'm
If he-
Leo.
If,
David
Leo all
Beckham
the way.
all the
if he
way.
could act his way out of a box, David Beckham. You have the tats. You
Yeah.
got the.
Yeah. I got the hair. I got the. Never mind. I don't have the hair.
Number 14. That was from Brazil, by the way. Erica Lino Stopa. Number 14. If you had the chance, he's doing the Power of the Force on me right now. If you had the chance, if you had the chance to interview somebody, who would you like to ask a question and what about? That is from Poland. Karolina Posa _Posa. I had a chance to interview somebody. Oh man, dead or alive? So you didn't say dead or alive. Let's assume alive, okay? Because if it becomes dead, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'd be asking Alexander the Great, like, what the hell, dude? Why?
Why so great?
Why so great? I would like to interview the oldest person alive, who I think is 116, and then I could probably spend 4 hours with him just talking about, hey, so what was Teddy Roosevelt like? Do you remember when cars were invented? Like, what was that like? Like, what did you think? What did you think when you saw that the Titanic went down and you were already 17? Like, those are the questions I want to ask. So I'd talk to the
Those are
oldest
good questions.
chick alive. She's like 1898 or 99 or something. Number 15. If you'd if you'd meet a person who has never heard your music, what song would you give them to listen to? This is Poland at OneRepublic Homie. 1R Republic. Yeah. Oh, that's a good question.
It's a good question.
That's a really hard. That's the hardest question, actually. I mean, the easy answer is you say, oh, pick one of the bigger ones. So, Counting Stars, or, you could say Secrets, or you could say, I don't know. But
it's tough to distinguish between what you would be most proud of and what you would feel would be the most wide-reaching representation of our music.
I've always loved What You Wanted. What You Wanted, that song has always, I know it wasn't a single, it wasn't some big hit, but that song for me, especially on the last album, really represented the feeling. Like, that was one of the first songs where I was like, everything about this record sounds like the band I wanted to be in since I was a kid. So I might give them What You Wanted.
I like that.
And then I would tell them, hey, we have bigger songs, but because I think you're cool, I'm giving you this. And if you don't get this, you can get the hell out.
Yeah. Then you don't get what you wanted.
You don't get what you... Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What was your best memory of 2015? Oh,
Was
man.
that selling out the Hollywood Bowl for me? I think. I don't know.
Was that in 15? I thought it was 14. It was 14.
That was 14.
14. 15, we were in Europe again. To be honest, it's kind of a tie for me. They're so hard to distinguish. It would be a three-way tie for me personally. I think between. Is that it? What is that?
Oh, yeah.
It's a peanut butter M&M. Merry Christmas, everybody.
I get the brown one. Yes.
Apparently, Darth Vader likes peanut butter M&Ms.
Thanks.
Thanks, Co.
It'd be a three-way tie for me between. It's gonna be random, but between Brazil, the combination of Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro and Rock and Rio, between Rio and Sao Paulo, Brazil blew us away.
I kind of agree.
Were we in Moscow this summer, or was that the previous fall? I don't think we were in Moscow this summer, so that doesn't count. That would have been one. So I'd say Brazil. I'd say Montreal was just like so awesome. We recorded there. We ate there. We had the best meal ever. Everything about Montreal and Canada just blew our minds. And then the third would be South Africa, because it was the end of something. We shot a live DVD. We got to go on a safari. Some of us. Cape Town and Joburg were spectacular. So, sorry. It's hard to give one answer to some of these, but that's my three-way tie. Those are my best memories of 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all really good.
And I'm also pretty stoked Adele finally released her damn album after waiting for 2 years and me not knowing what the hell's going on. So thank you, Adele.
Got a lot of mileage out of that.
Keeping me on a string for 2 years. Okay. Number 17. How much lyric... Oh, that was from Frankfurt, Germany. Anna Ramsey, by the way. Thank you, Frankfurt. This next question is from Italy. Serena Kaff. Grazie. How much lyric is important in a song, more or less than melody? Well, since you're Italian, it's an easier answer. What I found to be true, and I could be wrong, but this is just my belief, is that in countries where where English is not the first language, like Italy, Spain, Portugal, the Netherlands, I could go on and on. But in countries where where English is the second language, melody is more important than lyric. And I could give you 100 examples of this, but when you're going oh, and you're doing some big chant kind of moment in a song, doesn't matter what language you speak. I mean, and I've had conversations with a lot of DJs, the Swedish House Mafia guys told me the same thing. They said, in all the countries we play, except for America, Australia, England, Canada, every other country, or New Zealand, I guess, all the other non-English speaking countries, the melody is the big thing. David Guetta, Zed. I've had conversations with a lot of guys about this. In America, England, Australia, New Zealand, I think the lyric is as important as the melody. I think the melody is the most important to me because it comes first. I write melodies first, and then the lyrics kind of fall into place like a puzzle. But in Italy, melody is more important than lyric, I think, for most songs. Thank you for the question, though. Very good question. I gotta get Darth Vader some water.
Oh yeah.
You take this one.
Okay. Next question is from P or
TS
Adel
underscore
from Chicago.
Adel from Chicago.
And it is, what are your best memories, funny or serious, that come from being in a band together? Well, the
High five to no P luggage.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. There's
Still.
lots of really So, the broadest answer for that is the reason people stay in bands is because the funny, serious, and unforgettable memories that happen in a band never stop really.
Yeah.
And we've accumulated way too many together. I'm trying to think what some of the best have been recently.
Oh man, I mean, last one I can remember is like Brazil, just experiencing Rock in Rio.
Flying into Rock in Rio, and
on helicopter,
circling.
yeah. Like, come on.
It was pretty great.
Yeah.
Well, we've had a lot of really close calls snowboarding, skiing, and
Almost died together snowboarding.
yeah, with our cameraman.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really great. I think I've met a couple people that get into this line of work and absolutely hate any amount of adventure or risk, and they don't seem to like it, or they don't seem to like doing it for years and years and decades at a time. And so I feel like we got really lucky that we all want to try to have as much fun when we get to be together as we can.
Mark just
Darth Vader
goes.
get his
hair.
get his agua.
Yeah.
The next question is for Eddie
Oh, it's for me.
from Quebec City, Cam Roy 1R, or it could be Cam Law. It could be Cam Law. Eddie, what is your favorite song to perform live?
Perform live. Oh, there's a number of them. Counting Stars, Secrets, Again What You Wanted. Can't Stop. There was a moment where we had played Life in Color. It was really rocking and live. But one that I really connect with the band, I feel like it's our kind of moment, is Au revoir. That's really, I don't know, sonically soothing to play, I think. I would simply put that.
Au revoir. Merci beaucoup, Quebec City. Cam Roy 1R. Number 20. If you could have personally witnessed a historic event, what would it be? This is from Istanbul. At Love is Republic. Well, I think I'd like to go back and see them building the Hagia Sophia. So that would be incredible, which was a long time ago in Istanbul. I would like to see when Istanbul was Constantinople. I'd like to go back on the train. The what's it called? It went from London all the way to Constantinople back in the day.
Orient Express.
What's it called?
Orient Express.
The Orient Express. That's right. Historically significant event. Man, that is a good question. There are so many I'd like to see. I'd like to see Hitler losing his mind, panicking as the Allied forces stormed his hideout. I'd like to watch that. I got it. JFK. I'd like to like go back and be able to freeze frame and actually see, was he killed by one bullet or one gun, one person,
Or a fish.
or a fish? Yeah, as Darth Vader just said.
That's yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to watch that. I don't know. What about you guys?
I can't beat that one.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, yeah, I don't really know. Like, I feel like the most historical events that we learn about growing up all have to do with some type of siege or change of power.
Like 300. Well, when you think about, you just made me think of siege. Like 300. Like going back to the actual battle of between the Grecians and the.
Like it would be It would be crazy to witness something that would change a society forever, and also so terrifying because like you wouldn't want to.
I know. Like yeah.
It's tough.
There's a lot. I'd like to see, some of the miracles performed in the Bible. I think would be amazing to be on the Sea of Galilee, and watch 5 loaves of bread and fishes be turned into enough food to feed thousands of people. I mean, there's a lot of miracles that have happened that would be amazing to watch. I'd like to go back and see. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was one of my favorite movies as a kid because of that. I'd like to go back and see.
So great.
If you could have a superpower, what would your one superpower be? Time travel.
Yes, time travel.
This is from Macedonia, whatever. I always mispronounce it. Do they say Macedonia or Macedonia?
Little.
We say Macedonia. I think they say Macedonia. Anyway, this is from at Drugar me, M-I, Drugar me. My superpower would be time travel. Is that a superpower?
Ooh,
Not
I
really,
think
is
it's a super answer.
Time travel.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What about you?
Invisibility would be cool.
He wants to get his creep on.
Oh,
That's
he
what
knows.
What about you?
Well, now I'm thinking about invisibility. I think so. I feel like
Flying would be amazing.
if you were within like, I wouldn't want to be able to read minds, but maybe if I was within like 10 foot of somebody, be able to make them like say whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
That'd be
And
good.
just, I feel like that would be a really great, useful, practical joke tool.
Drew, how did you meet the rest of the band? This is from Russia, from Shelipova.
Tell us, Drew.
Wow. Well, actually the first time
Ever I saw your face.
the first time I met Zach was at
Room 5.
at Room 5 at I think technically like the third ever
Concert.
like the third show that the two of you guys had played after you moved to Los Angeles, and I'd met you prior to that
Jared.
through our friend Jared who we both used to play with, and I think that's basically I met Zach because he was about to leave town to get married, and needed somebody to play guitar in his band for a couple weeks.
We were all living in LA, for those of you who know LA, right off La Brea, in Beverly, and there was a restaurant that Zach worked at called Amalfi, and the upstairs of Amalfi, like the third floor, there's this tiny little room called Room 5, and it was a concert venue. People like Jamie Cullum played there, Nora Jones, it was very singer-songwriter. I think songwriter John Mayer. It was like, if it still existed, it would be a place Ed Sheeran would have played when he started. So it's that kind of very tiny place, and we played there 3 or 4 times. And Zach went to get married, and Drew filled in while he was getting married. And then we realized, okay, we always needed 5 guys anyway, and we loved what he was doing. It was different than Zach.
And glasses.
Complimentary, and he had glasses, and so that was kind of a requirement for us.
Checked a lot of boxes.
Yeah, exactly. 10 fingers, wears glasses.
10 fingers.
In the band.
Glasses, most of his toes.
Thank you, Shelipova. Number 23, what is an artist you would bring back to life? John Lennon. Is there even really...
That's
John Lennon.
Michael Jackson.
From Mexico.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. For me, it'd be John Lennon. I love Michael, but if I could only bring back one, I would go back and somehow that crazy asshole that shot John Lennon would have been thwarted before he was able to pull the trigger. What about you?
I mean, that's
John
a really
Lennon?
good one. I can't really think of.
From Mexico. Thank you, Mexico. This next one is from Toronto, Canada. C. Canuck, 2013. Ryan, I'm a fairly new runner. Any tips? What's the farthest you've run? I'm training for a half marathon right now. Let's see. Any tips? Tips A, go to a proper shoe store like that specializes in running and have them actually film you running to pair you with the perfect pair of running shoes. I did that and it's made all the difference in the world. I mean, can't tell you how big of a difference that is in your running. That's number one. Number two, don't stretch before you run. Stretch after you run. This is a buddy of mine's an orthopedic surgeon, and that's one of the biggest misconceptions about running is that you need to get all stretched out before you run. That's how you injure yourself. Go for a run, and then after you've warmed up, then you stretch. Or after you get back from your run.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Acknowledge that.
I only realized that this year. I had 2 different doctors tell me that within 1 year, and I was like, okay. Number 3, drink lots of water. Obviously, you already know that. And I would say, obviously, get really good music to listen to, and get massages, or get one of those rollers that you can roll on, or a tennis ball even, to roll out your muscles and your legs and your hips. The furthest I've run, I'm not a super long distance runner. I mean, I am maybe compared to some people, but I consistently run between 5 to 7.5 miles. That's kind of my range. I don't think I've ever run further than 8 or 9 miles. I think 8 and change is about the furthest I've ever gone, only because I'm not training for a marathon. I'm not trying to run a marathon. And once you get up to like 10 miles, it's like kind of gets ridiculous. I basically don't like to run more than an hour. So if I can, whatever I can do within an hour, which pretty much the furthest I could go in an hour is about 7.5, maybe 8 miles if I was running full tilt the whole way. So I guess that's pretty much a 10K, I guess. Where are you from? Canada? 10K kilometers. Number 25. What area of music do you think is the most beneficial to study? Business, education, or producing?
Writing.
There you go.
Writing is
Writing.
the answer.
California, Karis Fisher, 1R. It completely depends on what you want to do. Do you want to work for a record label and be developing artists, finding artists, managing artists? That's a completely different thing. If that's the case, then music business for sure. Education, if you want to be a music teacher, and some people genuinely just want to teach music, which is not in my DNA, but some people love to do it, so obviously. Producing, yeah, I mean, you could get into producing by being an engineer, get a job at a record, what am I trying to say? A studio, recording studio, like this. Get a job working for a producer if you can. You have to hustle your ass off. There's no application process. There's no easy way to do it. You have to move. You live in California, so you have a huge advantage. So if you did not live in California, I would say first, get to California or New York or London. Those are pretty. Nashville,
Yeah.
New York. Nashville, New York, London, Los Angeles, maybe Sydney, if you're Australian, obviously. Those are about the only cities you have any, if you really want to make a profession working as a producer, as a songwriter or a record label music industry person, you need to be in one of those 4 cities. You can still make a living, obviously, if you live in Amsterdam and you're a good producer. There are plenty of producers in places like Amsterdam and Paris that do well, so you can make a living. But if you want to get to like compete with at the highest level, you need to be in one of those 4 major cities. I don't know any way around that. And then you just dig in and you meet people and you remember their name, remember their number, and make contacts. And If you want to be an artist, it doesn't really matter where you live because we will find you. The world will find you. If you're in Ohio or San Bernardino or Guadalajara, if what you're doing, I'm throwing out random cities.
Yeah.
If you are in the outer rim of Uranus, anyway, yeah. So people are gonna find you if you're an artist. If what you're doing is great, you know, obviously the internet exists. You put it up there, and it's spectacular, and we all fall in love with you, and everybody goes nuts. But if you want to be write, produce, business, teach, get yourself to a major city, and that's my how-to guide, I guess, on whatever. The Idiot's Guide to Music Business, according to Ryan. Final question. This is from Marco in Nashville, Tennessee. At OneRepublic, how do you decide which All Saints jacket Zach Filkins will wear each day?
You know, that's actually a really great question because it's a very similar process to the way that singles are picked in our band. It's like a 9 to 10 voter system with each band member getting a vote, and then there's a collective group of trusted friends and confidants and business associates that all kind of weigh in.
As long as it's black and it makes him look bigger than he already is. No, smaller than he already is.
Smaller.
Sorry. Smaller.
Small.
Is it bigger?
Smaller or bigger,
Or
but
bigger.
not
the
the
same.
same.
So as long as it doesn't make him look the same, either bigger or smaller, that's kind of the only requirement, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
I'm trying to think. I think that's pretty much it, guys. These are incredible questions from all over the world. I'm thrilled that we got to do this. We should do this more often. We should do this like every few months. I feel like we do a Q&A, Q and Slay. Q and Slay.
You guys also have way better questions than most.
These are better
Most
questions than
journalists.
99.9% of all the journalists that have ever interviewed us. We get asked the same damn questions all the time. Like, let me give you some questions to avoid moving forward. Is it harder to write songs for the band or for other artists? What's some other ones?
What was it like working with Timbaland?
Yeah. So, do you guys have any, the pre-show ritual question is asked quite a bit. It's a fair question. I'm trying to think what are some of the other...
So you guys got any special top secret collaborations coming up that you won't tell anybody about, that you want to leak to E?
Yeah, that's right. Top secret collaborations that are secret. Could you tell me about those right now on air? So just avoid those questions, please. And I'm trying to think. There's more. There's like our top 5 most irritating questions that journalists ask. You did not ask one of them though, which makes us even more thrilled that you are following us and you are fans, and
we love you for that.
And we love you for that. And we have to get back. It's almost Christmas time, so we're gonna part. I gotta go grocery shopping because I am cooking tonight, and
they get to eat food.
They get to eat. You like pig's feet, right?
Yep, always, dude.
Yeah.
Hog balls.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go grocery shopping, and then
I'm gonna go wrap Eddie's birthday present.
Awesome, amazing.
There you go.
And then we're gonna get back to making some more music. We are. You did not ask this question, which I'm actually kind of surprised, but we are closing in on deciding what our first single is going to be, and we have a very short window left of time before we have to pick what it is. I can't tell you the exact date, but we're picking it in very soon, and then we start the whole process of putting it out, and where do we put it out, and how, and when, and what am I going to wear, and do I look fat in this watch?
Absolutely.
And all that shit that people go crazy over. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa, Hanukkah,
Thank you.
Christmaka. Thank you guys for these questions. We're going to do it again. We love you. Peace. Sayonara.
2016.
What?
Oh.